What's up everyone, Eric here from Liquid Fan TV, and today I'm going to be bringing you a preview show for the Six Invitational 2020. But before I jump into it, I just want to say thanks to Jenna. She's a Team Liquid super fan. She really helped me kind of build out the Rainbow Six storylines from this video, give me a little bit more information about the team. And if you want a lot more positivity on your timeline, or maybe just some more pictures of Team Liquid Rainbow Six players, you can give her a follow at Jenna Ye. Otherwise, let's just jump right into the video. Now, getting into the actual tournament, the Six Invitational is kind of a culmination of the previous year's competitive Rainbow Six season. So it sees 16 teams competing over 10 days in Montreal to kind of crown the champion going into the 2020 season. And Team Liquid recently just got their slot by winning the OGA Pit Minor against Space Station Gaming. It was a really great tournament for us, pretty clean. Even Space Station Gaming was looking like quite a strong team in that tournament, so the fact that we beat them really bodes well going into the Invitational. They just recently announced G2 as their final team, and with that they kind of confirmed the groups. And I think with the teams that are there and the groups that are set up, there's a lot of really interesting storylines that are possible at the Six Invitational. But before we get there, I just kind of want to touch on the players, maybe for some Team Liquid fans that might not know all too well who this squad consists of. So to start off, I kind of want to look at Moringa and PSK, the two more recent additions in the squad. Moringa, he's definitely one of the calmer players on the team. I think that's something that's really necessary, kind of given how emotional and how excited the rest of the squad can get. And then on top of that, he's of course a really strong player. He's always reliable for a clutch at any point. We saw that in the minor. He had a crazy ace. And I think that kind of goes hand in hand with his calmness and the confidence that he brings as a player. And then following him, we've got PSK, and he's kind of part of those core like top three fraggers of Liquid. He's extremely talented alongside Palu and Nesk, who I'll touch on a little bit later, but he's a very reliable player. He recently had a great run in Season 10 with that 1.09 rating. Fantastic player for us there. And then kind of on the flip side, we've got Sexy Cake, who he's really the goofy, kind of the big personality, backbone of the squad. He's our objective player. He's kind of always in the background of the game, but he as well is really capable of some insane clutches to keep the rounds alive, just like Moringa. And then moving on to Palu again, a player who performed exceptionally well at the OGA Pit Minor. He went something like plus 55 with a 1.36 rating. I think he had like 119 kills and 66 deaths across the tournament, which is absolutely insane. And he's got a lot of potential to heavily impact the Invitational if he kind of carries that performance over into the Invitational. And then finally, we've got Nesk, the player that I'm going to take a little bit more time to highlight, since he's really one of the most talented Rainbow Six players right now. So specifically for Nesk, I think he's our real star player. He's always been extremely consistent for us, being a top 1, top 2 rated player, whether it's Pro League play or an online tournament, whatever it might be. And in Montreal, I think Liquid fans are really going to want to keep an eye on Nesk. He's going to be the one that's going to explode and carry some of these rounds for us, getting those multi-frags that really turns the game into our favor. If we go back to Season 10, he was our highest rated player. He did a really great job for us winning opening duels. Similar to CSGO, the opening duel is obviously very important. You kind of get that numbers advantage. You get the round kind of going in your favor. So he had an opening kill percentage of, I think 22% of the rounds he played, he was involved in that opening kill. He won 33 duels while only losing 14, which is a pretty good record, all things considered. And going into the Six Invitational, I think he's going to keep that role of being the consistent player to win those ever important duels. And then just in general, I think Nesk and Palu are going to be the two kind of players that we want to keep an eye on just as a performance marker for the tournament. I think if they're performing well, there's a really good chance that Team Liquid is performing well in the tournament. And I think just as Team Liquid fans, if you're looking for the exciting plays, the exciting players to watch, Nesk and Palu are definitely going to be those two players to keep an eye out for. So with the squad overview done, we can kind of start looking at some of the teams that are going to be attending the Six Invitational 2020 and kind of what that means for Team Liquid fans and just Team Liquid in general. So the first one I kind of want to look at is going to be familiar for all Team Liquid fans, I would say. It's going to be TSM, and I think that's a name, like I said, that League of Legends fans are going to be very familiar with. TSM, a team that we recently lost to in DreamHack Montreal, unfortunately. It was a very close grand finals. Started off with an insane game 1 on Coastline, but I think really TSM got carried by Bolo in those grand finals. He had an insane tournament altogether, and he really showed off in the grand finals. I think that was a big reason that we ended up losing, was just because he had such a crazy solo performance. But I'll be really interested to see kind of how we match up against them if we meet meet them in the bracket play here in Montreal. I think it would be a great matchup, again, kind of that rivalry team in TSM, but just also back in Montreal, right? We get to maybe kick them out of the tournament. We get to maybe show them how much stronger we are, what kind of adjustments we're going to make in our gameplay. So I think the matchup against TSM is definitely going to be one that I'm hoping for, and I just really want to see how we might change up the gameplay if we meet them again. Another potential matchup we can kind of look forward to here is going to be up against FaZe. I know maybe some fans aren't too familiar with FaZe, but certainly PUBG fans and even more recently CSGO fans are going to be familiar with FaZe. And in Rainbow Six, they're kind of our domestic rival. Again, similar to PUBG, they're our domestic rival there as well. But if we bring it back to Rainbow Six, they've always kind of had a little bit of an advantage in that matchup up against Team Liquid. More recently though, Team Liquid's been coming out on top, especially just recently, essentially heading into the Six Invitational. We beat them in Pro League Season 11, so it'll be really interesting to see if we hit FaZe in the bracket. I think anytime you have kind of a rivalry like this, especially a domestic rivalry, you really want to win at that World Championship to show that for sure, you know, you're the better team, you know, from the region, the better rivalry team. So I really hope we see FaZe in bracket play. I think if we do, there's a really good chance that we'll come out on top again. But, you know, more than anything, it's going to be interesting to see if, you know, FaZe or Team Liquid, since they know each other so well, will they kind of look to bring out something new in the Invitational, you know, potentially a new pick band for the map, potentially, you know, a new operator pick band that they're looking at. So that's something that I think I do want to highlight FaZe. We might not meet them in the bracket. I really hope we do. If we do, again, I think we can come out on top, but that's something that I think all Team Liquid fans can look forward to. So of course, aside from FaZe and TSM, there's going to be another 14 teams there, so there's a lot of potential for some really interesting games. There's a lot more storylines there. Of course, Space Station Gaming is going to be there. They're perhaps going to be looking to take their revenge on us if we do happen to meet them. You know, there's Empire, always a really strong team that you have to watch out for. G2, who couldn't even qualify. They actually had to get invited by Ubisoft. Again, another team League of Legends fans are going to be familiar with. Nodus Vincere, there's a lot that you could really go on about. I think it's going to be a really exciting tournament. Of course, it's a World Championship, so I think all Team Liquid fans should head in and watch and just support the team. These guys are extremely passionate about the game, extremely emotional. They get really excited. They get really pumped up. It's just really fun to watch them, you know, even just in between rounds that they win. And I think we've got a really great shot at it, especially off the back of the OGA Pit Minor. I think we're really excited coming into it. It'll be interesting to see kind of how we adjust to the meta at a World Championship, but overall, I think there's a great possibility we're a top 3 team. It's a double bracket elimination, so of course, Team Liquid, even if we find ourselves in that lower bracket, there's always potential for that Cinderella run that we always find ourselves in. But again, the games start tomorrow. It's about 10 days. I think there's a 1-day break in between there, but I really encourage Team Liquid fans to check it out, and thanks for watching the video.